All right, you latecomers. Can you hand that agenda to Walter? Thank you.
Oh, that didn't quite work out.
There we go.
Thanks, Bill.
You're
All right.
welcome.
All right, let's get cracking. Welcome to the April 2nd, 2025 meeting of the Berlin Conservation Commission. As a reminder, open session public meetings are subject to being recorded. Your image and voice will be recorded. Moving right along, minutes. Good job on the minutes, Maddie.
Yep, so we had the March 5th, March 5th
Yeah,
meeting minutes available. March 19th still work in progress.
all right. Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the March 5th meeting minutes.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask you to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Passes unanimously. Treasurer's report, I assume, is about the same.
Yep, so wetlands count, we have $15,249.07. Open space, we're at $28,302.78. Annual budget, we have $1,479.44. Something to note this year, Kristen, the town administrator, informed us. Informed us that our Solon Pond Mitigation Fund will be a little bit less this year. It's only going to be $41,666.76. There was an overpayment back in 2000. So there.
They just caught up.
And and so I guess the town notified them when they did it. And at the time, they were like, that's way too complicated. We can't figure that out. And
Curious, what would be the interest on that over 30 years?
Right?
Good for us, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah. So, so they deducted the overpayment from the payment due, and that will be the amount that we receive this year. Right, good. Okay, bills and forms.
Bills and forms. So no real bills and forms, but we do have a reimbursement request from AJ for purchases of Earth Day equipment.
This is for the.
Bird
This
house.
is
Yeah.
birdhouses.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
The bird
Yeah, I was like, wait,
internship
galvanized
program.
poles. Never mind.
Yeah.
You don't need that for Earth Day. But yeah, okay, so related to the Eastern Bird Program, building materials. So let's.
Here, I'll do the math.
All right.
Find my phone.
On
your phone? Yeah. I'll do, it's all right. I'll just, I could, I'm sure, add it in my head, but why do that? So the total is 5206. That does not include sales tax. And
Do
it's,
you need a motion?
I do.
I'll make a motion to reimburse AJ $52.06 for materials for the birdhouses.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask you to vote. All those in favor of reimbursement, say aye.
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 All those opposed? All right. Excellent. And yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, excellent. Mail and notices, including email.
Not really too much. Other things that came in we could discuss in other topics, but
Right. Okay, but nothing's that's unrelated to anything else that's on the agenda.
right.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah, I don't remember seeing anything. Maplewood.
So Walter and Walter
I
went
went
up.
up the next day, and sorry I didn't let you know. I was going to take a walk in the woods someplace else, so I went and took a look in. I couldn't find anything wrong at all, and I went down. I talked to the person who filed the complaint, and she was satisfied.
Awesome. Thank you very much. other thing I have to add is I did see an email
Mhm.
for, 500 cubic yards?
Yep. So they're requesting more soil and
Yep.
sampling soils.
So, but certainly not at the pace that it was happening before. So, Highland Ridge.
Yeah, no
Do we-
recent reports since
Yeah, I
our
didn't
last
think
meeting.
so. So how long are we gonna keep this up?
So, is that wood chip pile still
The
there?
bank,
It
yeah.
looks,
Yeah.
I think it looks, I looked at it a week or so ago. It looks the same. I think it's okay. I mean, naturally I defer to my, local sensors, but I don't notice any perceptible change. And then there was, Patrick pointed out, there was a clog in the,
Yep.
and that's been taken care of, we reminded them. And I did ask Patrick to make sure a copy of our trust keys on that, so I don't, not that I mind sending it to them, but just for,
There's a new person in the loop.
yes, there
Yes.
is. So, but I think they're gonna take care of it. I don't think, it's not hard to do. Didn't have to borrow AJ's papers to take care of it. So I've been happy to do that.
It might have been a little short.
Well, it is what it is. But no, I think it looks stable. And, when somebody's over there the next time, we can always take another look later in the spring and see if there's any reason for anything else.
Okay.
Thank you for asking.
Awesome. CSX.
Actually,
Oop.
I eyeballed what I could from the road because we're not allowed to encroach. Although, while I was there, 2 teenagers came, they walked over that culvert and then up the railroad tracks,
Sure.
whatever. But, what I could see is, some emerging vegetation. I think we really need to get in there and inspect it. And I wouldn't do it until the 1st of May.
'Kay.
And see what's emerging then.
Right.
And I'll be in South Carolina anyway, so. No,
Yeah.
about then.
Yeah.
If we could
Early
maybe,
May.
yeah, if we could set something up for after the 5th, I think we'd come back the 5th. But I think that would probably be late enough to tell us the story.
Okay. Yep, I can reach out to John.
And we could maybe get this off of our plate if we can clear them and.
Yep.
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, that'd be good. And then we should probably reach out to 100 River Road West also about an inspection. I'm sure they're eager to close that out as well.
What was that about? That was just straightening out back and everything when they took over, so that's, so, all right.
Right.
Yeah.
Do an inspection,
Right,
sure.
yes, and so we're waiting to make sure that the vegetation, that, that what they planted
Yep.
took.
Want me to look at it? Or you,
We're gonna set up a site visit,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
92 Ellen Road.
So 92 Allen Road. So we did get a report from the neighbor next door of work happening on the property. AJ did go out to the site and take a look at it. Didn't really see any recent excavation near the wetlands. Just pretty much some logs within the ditch that ran along the driveway.
And
then
on the
on the other
opposite side.
Yeah, on the other
Yeah.
side, of the
Yeah.
wetland
Yeah.
area.
But I saw absolutely no evidence, and I walked all the way up and down after I visited with Bonnie, the co-owner, because Richard wasn't home. And I couldn't see any evidence of any soil disturbance at all, recent. So
Yeah.
it was obvious he moved that log with his front loader, but the tracks were all on the driveway, nothing beyond that I could.
Yep, so I did reach out to the butter and inform them that we did go check it out. If he had any photos, please send them along. He did send photos, but that's the log
Yep.
in the
Right,
ditch.
so that's
like,
what he's talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have the same photo on my phone.
Yeah.
Big deal.
Yeah, you can swipe, and then there was another pile, which I feel like
Yeah,
Looked
that looks
like the way it
it
did.
is. Yes, where is that? On
This-
Allen Road?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, and then there's one more photo. But I think that area looked like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so the pond is like right there.
Right.
Yeah, but that's not new.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
it's
That's
not recent.
like part of the enforcement order.
Yep. And then I did speak with Dan Wolf of David E. Ross Associates, so that's who Richard has hired to help him with this process of covering the enforcement order today. He did tell me that they're working on more of a restoration plan than a plan to, permit the driveway extension. He said essentially it's a perennial stream, so it's gonna have to meet stream crossing standards, and
It's not.
it's not
going
gonna,
to.
it's
Yeah.
not going to. So he's more proposing a restoration plan instead for that area.
Okay.
And
Well, and hopefully that will end the question as to whether the driveway can be widened or not.
yeah, I do believe property markers it has been surveyed, the property, so there are now fresh property markers
Oh,
out
there?
there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to go look again.
Yeah.
But not tomorrow.
All right. Yeah. All right, we have about 15 more minutes till our first appointment. So let's move on to some of the other agenda items.
We do Tohoto since I have to leave early.
Yeah, what time do you have to leave?
I would like to leave by 8.
Okay. Sure, so let's skip down to the Tohoto, is this,
I mean, it's just what I emailed you guys about.
Okay.
But AJ and Phil and I were at Tohoto on the 21st, I think, Friday, for their refresh day, and had the students in Mr. Parrott's classes building birdhouses, which they seemed to enjoy. And it was a cool activity. I think I said this at the last meeting, but AJ did a lot of work for this. He made all of the kits, cut up all the wood for it. And as you saw from the receipt, bought stuff to build them, like glue and nails
Right.
and stuff. So in that sense, it went really well in terms of outreach. We passed out some of the flyers about bluebirds. I think only a few students took the birdhouses home. I think fewer than 10. So we were left with quite a few at the end, which AJ has looked over and determined that they are not all suitable for being hung. But I think in terms of outreach, it was a successful event.
awesome. Are they fixable or?
I've been picking away at that. I just set 6 aside yesterday that were redone. And not all the kids in these classes were shop kids. Some of them were in there. I don't know why, but the refresh day is not, strictly.
Yeah.
So strictly just the shop kids coming through.
Did they glue them all together like you do, so
Yep.
they can't be repaired? I tried to take one of his apart because I wanted the side to open. Wouldn't open. I pulled the nails out, still wouldn't open. It was all glued together.
I don't know. I did that in a fit of madness, I suppose.
No, but I think it made a big impression on the administration.
Oh,
Oh,
good.
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 That's my take. Parrott is a pretty popular, I'm only a sub, obviously, but I think he's well-respected, well-liked, and
You can tell right away. Yeah.
absolutely.
He's
He's got
walking
great
down the hall next to
credibility, total control of his classroom.
Oh, yeah.
He's just got that kind of demeanor that's really, really good. And he knows his stuff. I mean, he
Yeah.
just acts away. So I think, again, I think it'd be nice to see that program continue, and maybe others, who knows,
Right.
as time goes on. So I think it was really good, and teammates were great.
That would be great, yeah. And it sounds like Refresh Day is something they do every year, and that's a good opportunity for kids who aren't in shop class to be able to participate.
Sort of. I mean, there definitely were some students who just kind of appeared,
Yep.
but it wasn't the same as what I think we were initially hoping, where the students who filled out the form could come. I think for the most part, they were trying to keep kids in their scheduled classes, so it was primarily his students. So I would still like to see some sort of event where we could get those kids who indicated that interest instead of just, hey, we're gonna build a birdhouse today.
Right.
And I did mention that to Ms. Sequeira. And I don't know if Refresh Day is a new thing. I don't know if they're thinking about changing its structure at all. It wasn't a thing when I was a student,
Right.
so I don't know where they are in that process, how established it is.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it definitely was good for what it was, and we could potentially reach more students though.
I have to say, if Lexi had not stuck around for the whole day, it was a big load to try to manage 20 or 25 students at a time,
Sure.
doing something they'd never done before.
Right, yeah.
But
Yeah.
Mr. Parrot was
Some of
in
them
there
were
up to his
pretty
elbows,
impressive
and
at-
yeah.
At not following
Lexi.
directions.
Yeah. AJ did indicate that to me.
I wonder if some of them had never held a hammer.
Well, in theory, they should have, because they were all supposed to be Mr. Parrot students.
Yeah, but he has robotics classes.
That's
and
true. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
CNC
definitely different
and
types of
yeah,
classes.
yeah. It's not just wood shop.
Right. That is a good point.
Although his wood shop is an enviable.
Yeah, apparently they got some grant money.
Yeah.
They were able to kind of trick it out.
Oh,
Nice.
that's awesome.
Yeah, they
That's awesome.
posted pictures.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Nice.
and it looked like it was like spotless.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just like your shop, right?
Yeah.
Do we want to write a letter to the school administration thanking them for allowing us to be involved?
Okay.
I think we
So
should also thank the person who donated all that lumber.
Yes.
Oh, Dave Smith.
Yep.
Yeah. Because that was a lot. Of
Yes.
lumber
It was.
to donate.
Yeah.
It was so convenient.
I'm gonna see
that you
him on
could pull,
Friday, but
Okay.
AJ could pull a truck right up in the back of the shop room there, so it
Yeah,
was easy
yeah.
to unload and load up at the end, so. it was good.
Awesome. Excellent. All right, well, and thank you. And when's the next student is it student council?
That's a Lily's
School
question.
council
Okay.
that has, they have 3 students on the school council. That is the 16th, I believe.
Of April?
Yes.
Okay.
In 2 weeks.
All right. Do we feel the need to attend that? Are we,
Well, I will be attending it anyway
Okay.
because I'm on council, but,
okay.
you know.
Good.
What would you,
I don't know. Do we have stuff kind of still hanging? Are we still?
We have those, the stuff from the form that Ms. Sequeira created.
Yep.
So I have a list of students for things like trail maintenance, signage, the birdhouses, obviously. I can't remember all of them off the top of my head, but I do have some student lists, and I think for most of them, the ball would be in our court because
Right.
it's things that we would be putting on, like the trail work,
Right.
as opposed to an event that Tohoto would be putting on.
Okay. Right.
Unless they did
Welcome.
something, an additional birdhouse type thing. But we had like community gardening on there, the student guided trails.
Right.
That's definitely in our court.
Right. So, we discussed maybe, we discussed like a path to creating the trail guide.
Yeah.
Do we want to get in touch with the students that wanted to do that and maybe set up a separate, maybe we could even do a Zoom meeting or something?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah. I
Okay.
can reach out to them. Your availability is after work hours, right?
Correct. Right. So, but we could do a Zoom like at night.
Right. Yeah.
Mondays tend to be Mondays are always free.
Okay.
Sometimes Thursday, never Tuesday.
Okay.
Okay.
I think that number is fairly small, so that should be pretty doable.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, like maybe just put out some dates. email me and I'll send you some dates that I'm available, and we'll figure out when we can do that. We'll see if we can get a town Zoom channel
Okay.
and go from there.
Sure.
All right. And then as far as the gardening goes, once we start working over here in like another month or so.
About, yeah.
Right.
Although I stopped by this week, and the daffodils we planted last year just starting to peak up. Brand new bulbs, so.
Nice.
Cool.
And then when Ethan's done with his classes, we can get some trail work going, maybe schedule a work day.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I have those emails for students, so we could include,
okay,
if there's a work day scheduled, we can just tell them. and
Right.
They may or may not show up.
right. Awesome. Well, thank you, all three of you, for the work that you've been doing with the high school, and let's keep it up.
There's one more little thing with the high school. It's, they've got 8 Leos signed up for roadside cleanup.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
That's
They'll be there
fabulous.
at 9:00.
I didn't hear.
There's 8 students signed up for roadside cleanup.
Oh,
The Leos
oh,
from the
okay.
high school.
Awesome.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
All right.
Moving on.
Moving on. Okay. So I guess, so we've got 6 minutes. It's not actually on the agenda because I just found out, but I have a work conflict for our next meeting. So unless somebody wants to chair.
I move that we just skip the meeting.
I second that.
Okay. Motion is made and seconded to cancel the April 16th meeting. All those in favor? All those opposed?
So the next one is 4th of May.
Next one will be just after town meeting, yeah.
Yeah, May 7th.
Yep.
Is there anything we need to do before town meeting?
Not really.
What day is town meeting?
Must be the 5th.
It's whatever that Monday, the first Monday of May.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, May 5th. The day you get back.
Yeah, I don't think we'll get any time. I'll have to look at the flight schedule.
All right.
If I get in early enough, I'll certainly be there.
Okay. Anything else short? Well, under old business, we don't have an update for Lancaster Road, correct?
Yep, so the property owners reached out to me, and was like, asking what's next, and I basically said, well, the as-built plan provided is not accurate to what was as-built. So we're still waiting on an accurate as-built, which I did, message,
The
Scott.
builder.
Yeah,
Yep.
yep, about, I did not hear back on that message. And then I also asked what's the status of, you know, the structural sill fence and the gravel there, saying that we would like to see the gravel removed, and the commission would like to do a site visit once that gravel is removed, just to see the condition of it. And, yeah. Have not heard.
Excellent.
But, it sounded like the homeowner was gonna get on their case,
Good.
so.
All right. We don't have any new business under that. Trail maintenance, we don't really have anything.
Oh, I did go on that. Oh, I'm sorry, tell me, I have to
Yep.
talk about conservation. Excuse me. Okay.
The Ball Hill Road Conservation Forest Stewardship Plan, Maddie and I attended the select board meeting last
Monday?
right,
Yeah.
not
A week
Monday
ago
this
Monday,
week,
yeah.
Monday last week. And they signed the contract with Gary. So next step is to, so have you got, I assume you've gotten it to Gary.
No, so I just,
Oh, just
'Cause
picked
they-
up the signed
yeah,
copy, yeah.
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 So I will email that over to him, and we will see what the next step is.
Right, so, well, I imagine the next step is to go and decide exactly what's gonna happen.
Exactly,
Yes,
yep.
and then come up with a timeline and
Mhm.
all of that.
Yeah, it sounds like there's some public outreach aspects to it, when talking with Gary
Okay.
last time, like you would
Right,
kind
that
of
makes
explain
sense.
the process.
Yep.
So people know what's gonna go on.
Sure, yep. Probably need to schedule a site visit that's
Yeah.
open to the public, like we had,
Yep.
like we did before. Hopefully more people will come this
Right.
time. All right. 2 minutes, guys.
Okay, so the
Fine.
SVG inspection is not on the agenda, right?
That's, generally, we don't put them on the agenda,
Oh,
but yeah.
okay. Yeah. 'Cause I did
Was
go-
it the Kelsey property?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did go on that. I was surprised that there's still a lot of open space left, you know, that could easily be, well, not easily, but with some work, it could be turned into a hayfield. You know, and it's not overgrown. There was no sign of any invasives that I saw, but it's probably too early to tell. But the one thing I noticed is that you could see really big signs of the washouts that they had, because it was an area, it was a stream and it was like a gully.
Huh,
Right, yeah, oh yeah, you can see signs that there were washouts on that property.
right. Coming from Maplewood?
Well,
Yeah.
coming down the hill,
Yeah.
right.
And has Kristen, was that Kristen?
Yes.
Has she given us a report of that?
Not yet.
Okay, so we'll look at that when we get it. Awesome. All right, yay, we're close enough. By the time you get up here and sign in and
I'll take a one minute
everything.
setup, how about that?
Yeah, exactly.
Sit wherever you want, I'll plug up there.
You
for
can,
this end.
welcome to sit at the table.
Okay.
You guys can sit.
I don't wanna be blocking. Who's back there? I'm gonna sit back there. I don't wanna block. So sorry with you guys, if it's facing roughly over here?
Yeah, we're gonna have to have
Sure.
a copy on the table if we can.
Yeah.
I actually have no problem propping it right up here too if you want.
Yeah, you know we like to look at things closely.
Of course.
Are these also smaller copies
Yes, I do.
for
I
the
have a
commission?
couple copies if you don't mind sharing.
Yeah, the,
I'll stand for a minute and then I'll take some quick switch plans on you guys.
two different.
Another one, oh, okay, there's a bunch
Yeah.
of copies there.
Alrighty.
All right. 7:30. Good to kick it off.
7:31.
Even better. 2 minutes. All right. Well, thank you guys for having us. I know at the last meeting you had us preliminarily for a couple conversations. It was just myself at the time. So for the record now, this is Andrew Tebow, wetland scientist with Goddard Consulting. I have Ryan Proctor, our engineer, and Bruce Wheeler of Artemis Farms, the applicant. So you have the whole team tonight.
All right.
So you guys will remember that at the last meeting, I came to present the plan that we had filed off the bat for some feedback from the commission. So that's the plan that you see here. So you'll remember that we had discussed as part of a land swap agreement, we were looking to get 3 things done on the property. One was to move a shed that was in the way of the right of way to a new location on the site, to expand the lawn in the rear of the property, and then the big ticket item was to relocate the existing well. And we had had a good conversation about the goals of the future land swap, the requirements of the well location, and the feedback was very helpful. So a lot of the comments came back centered around the location of this well, that this would be, this is part of a land swap agreement, it's not a necessity, the location of the well, the directional drilling, the maintenance of how we get there. A lot of questions were centered around, the well itself, the location, do we need to do this? And so what we've been able to do is the plans that you see here is the Bills and Roy team filed a variance plan with the Board of Health this week to relocate the well. Now it would need to be a variance, but the goal is to relocate it now in the front of the property. It's a way that the well is less non-conforming than the existing well. So rather than drill it on the other side of the stream, directionally drill underneath and tie it into the house, we would relocate it to the front of the property and avoid those stream impacts altogether. Now, this has to go through the Board of Health. There's a hearing on the 15th, so these plans that you guys receive are preliminary, but they are our goal and our proposal to hear your comments, to avoid all the impacts to the perennial stream, to the riverfront area, and to move this into an existing surface. Otherwise, the plan remains similar as proposed. The shed can still be relocated outside of the 25, outside of the 100-foot, within the limits of this existing lawn. The lawn itself that expands to the rear would still be proposed in the same manner, and we would still be restoring the perennial stream as part of mitigation for the lawn expansion. However, now there would be no more concerns of if we restore the perennial stream, we restore the continuity, there's a new perennial stream channel. Well, now how do we cross it? How do we get to a well on the other side? If we can get a variance for the work that we have here, there would be no well on the other side. So that would be purely restoration, purely mitigation with no need to go back and forth overward. So I heard when we got here that the next meeting with the town was going to be April 16th. It sounds like it's going to be May now.
Yes.
That's fine. So what I was going to say is the meeting with the Board of Health for this variance is April 15th. So regardless of your next meeting date, we expect to have either a vote or significant input in the direction of this application from the Board of Health, and that would center where we go from here. So the goal was to hear the comments of the commission, to relocate the well, to avoid the impacts to the resource areas back there, and this variance plan will allow us to do that. There are a few improvements with it as well. Although I would say it is less non-conforming, the current well is located about 55-ish feet away from the wetlands. This is about 94 feet away from the wetlands. So we'd be able to move the well further from the wetlands, 50 feet from the Central Street setback, and then it would be 20 feet from the proposed right-of-way.
What was the number from Central Street?
50 feet.
50.
Yep. So it's not, it is conforming in that aspect,
Yeah,
just from the
okay.
right-of-way itself, so that's where the variance comes in. So the goal is to maintain the separation from Central Street and move it further from the wetlands. But the big thing from a conservation standpoint is now there's no work on the opposite side of the stream. There's no directional drilling. There's nothing that we had discussed at the last meeting that would be a substantial improvement here. So that was our goal as well. Now I know at the last meeting the commission had also requested that as we're talking about this land swap agreement, work to come, that we would provide you with a preliminary subdivision plan to provide some context on what's being planned, why this work's being proposed. And so Ryan's team did submit that plan as well, and you guys received that today. So I am going to throw that plan up and just let him touch base. Although it's not under the scope of this application, it would be future notice of intent. I think it is important at a high level just for contextual purposes for you guys to be aware of what's being planned, why this work's being proposed, and where we go from here.
Definitely. So for the record, again, Ryan Proctor, Gillis and Roy. As Andrew mentioned at the last meeting, to provide some context for what we're doing with the land swap, we were asked to provide this preliminary subdivision plan. We do intend to file this with the planning board this week. And as Andrew mentioned, this project would come before you as a separate filing with your input for a notice of intent for the crossing itself. So this would be separate from the current application that's in front of you. But this does give you an idea of the roadway location and impacts relative to 248 and the parcels in the rear. So that's for reference only at this point. However, the filing with the planning board is coming very soon. And that, as I mentioned, would be a future filing with your commission as well.
And I'll leave this plan here as well, and I know there
So
could be some questions on either
just
one.
out of I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'll just move the other plan back in view for you guys. In
Oh,
case you have
okay.
questions on either one, I can throw them up, make it easier.
Just out of curiosity, I know this isn't a formal hearing, so the proposed subdivision plan on this is very significantly different from what you guys had at the last meeting.
The proposed here?
Yes, that this plan is very different than what you had submitted to us for context for the same reason. You guys had a whole bunch, you basically had a subdivision. Like an over 55, a mini over 55. I'm just curious. I guess I'm curious as to how solid the plans are for what you do want to do back here. These are two very different proposals.
Yeah, absolutely. I would defer to either Ryan or Bruce for that question, kind of going through the engineering and the planning.
So the plan that we intend to file with the planning board is this preliminary subdivision that has the 6 residential units with the cul-de-sac configuration that you see there, with the roadway crossing and the individual driveways to the houses
With the what crossing?
With the additional, the new wetland crossing for the road. So we are
So
proposing
it
to
would
cross that
have-
same
Oh, yeah.
stream.
The road would have crossed there.
Yep.
Yeah, so the convention, we have looked at two concepts. We looked at developing the property as a conventional subdivision under your subdivision control bylaw, and also looked at pursuing an active adult community, and I'm not sure that it would be through a town meeting process. And we looked at both plans, and we've decided to go forward with the conventional subdivision plan.
Okay, just curious.
Do you know what kind of crossing that is?
Yeah, so, I'm not sure how much you passed on about how concerned we all are about the crossing of the rail bed.
Yes, we did discuss that as a team actually, and I
Yeah.
know Bruce, as the applicant, is aware and has had conversations about that. Although I haven't been a part of them, I don't know if you want to speak more to that, but we are aware and we are discussing that rail trail project is
Is
underway,
in the works.
discussed.
Moving
Yes.
forward.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
no,
he is
Yeah.
aware.
we've had communication with the group about the crossing for the common driveway and for the access of to two lots. It also, it does dead end at 495.
The rail bed?
Yes.
No,
Yeah,
the
it
plan
does
is all the way from, it's,
Boston.
yeah,
right.
out to,
I don't know, where does it go from 495?
It gets it goes under 495.
Oh, it goes
Yeah.
under
Yeah,
495.
and it goes
okay.
there's a whole bridge and everything. It goes
Yeah.
under 495,
see.
and then it goes through behind some
Hudson and-
houses.
yeah.
It
And then
goes
it-
from Boston to Northampton,
Yeah.
Okay.
all the way.
It's a big
It does,
project.
okay, all
Right.
right.
It's
Yeah,
the state is very
I didn't
interested
see that-
in.
I didn't
yeah,
see that portion of the plan.
Yeah.
But we've had a discussion with them, and they would have to approve it. And so,
This
Uh,
is
That-
MassDOT or
Who's they?
DCR or?
DOT?
Which,
I guess I don't know the name of the group, the state.
I believe it would be DCR.
yeah,
Because
probably
DCR
DCR.
always
Yeah,
does
They
we've
have
Department
kind
of
of cycled all the way
Them as well.
through to the group, and I'm sorry, I apologize, I don't have the name, and they naturally would have to approve it.
Well, I will say thank you for moving the well.
Of course, we did our best.
I think it's a much better location for the sensitivity of the back of the property.
Well, we're hoping to move the well.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that-
Right.
And actually,
So-
while
Well,
we're here,
thank
that's
you for
Department of
moving it on paper at
Yeah, yeah,
least
so-
for now.
That's one discussion that we have with you guys tonight is, because the Board of Health has to approve a variance here, and so the conservation's opinion is actually an important component of that too. If we feel that this is better from a conservation standpoint, we're hoping the boards can work together and discuss that project, because our hope is to move it on paper, but the variance will allow us to move it in the field.
Right. Where is the leach field for the existing house?
It's in the backyard currently. It's,
Okay.
it's right on the property line. It's a leach pit.
Oh, I
oh,
see.
yeah, okay.
See it on this plan here.
Yep.
That was
No.
staying where it is, right?
Yeah, we
Mhm.
can see it
Staying
now.
where it is, right?
Yep. And there's no plans to move that, correct?
No plans. We did speak with the Board of Health agent. He recommended that we have to, prior to installation of the well, show an area for a reserve system. So we'll work through that
Okay.
process with them, but
Right.
no plans
Which,
to move
Walter,
the
you
primary
were
currently.
concerned about last week.
Mhm.
Yep, last time.
Is this a road or a right-of-way going in?
There's a right-of-way with a subdivision road.
A subdivision
So
road?
that's the only point of access, would be that?
That's right, yeah, there's frontage on Central Street up the street, but it's, a one-to-one ledge slope,
Right.
essentially.
I mean, there's a lot of unanswered questions here, from the railroad. And this isn't the zoning planning board, so, it really isn't my business on the one hand. On the other hand, it's wetland, so you got a wetland issue, you got railroad crossing, you have to go before DOT. you have an existing house with a leach field, and once before, we got stuck by approving cutting out an existing house out of 20 acres of land with 2 acres a lot. There was no way that had a legal sewage system or any expansion. So you got that issue up in the air, and I will be going to the Board of Health hearing on the 15th. And then I'm looking at all these slopes and pitches and everything else. I mean, this is really a fishing expedition is what it is. And, you know, it isn't a formal hearing, but
Correct.
the whole thing is really desperate attempt to try to maximize something out of all kinds of problems here, so.
Yeah, so what I would add to that is it's a fair question looking at this, and I want to remind us that this is a preliminary plan for contextual purposes. This application that you're reviewing now, this plan is not being submitted for and has no part of, but we want to give you guys context on why we're doing this.
Right.
So the conversations at the last meeting were centered around, here's the work that we would need to do now.
All right.
And your feedback was generally in the manner that we had proposed it previously, it wasn't going to be favorable. And so we're looking at this from just the scope of this application now. Whether or not this gets approved down the road would be a decision made by you guys, by DEP, by DOT,
Right.
by DCR, absolutely.
Right.
The goal here with this notice of intent now is we believe that we can make the necessary improvements regardless of this project here. My reason for saying that is we're proposing 3 things just under this application. So this roadway that you're seeing has nothing to do with what we're proposing right now. It's relocating a shed, which is actually keeping it within the lawn, just same size, same location, same layout, just different location. Expanding lawn, repairing a stream, and then it's actually consisting of taking a non-conforming well and making it a bit less non-conforming and moving it further from the wetlands. So even if this notice of intent were to get the variance it needs, move forward, get an order of conditions, it provides the benefit of making improvements to the property, to restoring the stream, to relocating a well. Whether or not this plan moves forward, this plan would actually be a completely separate application that would have a decision in and of itself down the road.
Right. And in full disclosure, I'm also on the planning board, so I'll see you there.
Perfect.
So, but you are making the frontage less conforming. If I do my math,
You're right.
the
You're
60
correct.
feet and the 132 is 192 for the frontage of the full width of the lot currently?
As of now, yes, that's right.
Right. And so are you adding, and I don't remember the regs off the top of my head, but first of all, I know frontage is 200 feet. And if you're going to have less than that, you need to have more backland. Like, is that all being considered
Yeah, I
with
know.
the land swap?
I defer to you guys. I know there is more backland being added to the land swap agreement. I don't know if you guys have the answer to that off the top of your head, but there is backland being added during the land swap. I actually had that visual here, that they would be taking, in blue here is land that would be added to 248 in the rear of the property.
Yeah, so it's a 1-for-1 land swap, so we're not proposing to decrease the area of 248 Central Street. And I can research the regs also on this, but my understanding is we are adding the frontage for what would potentially be the subdivision road, should that portion of the project move forward and be approved.
What do you mean you're at,
It would essentially become, if there's a subdivision road there, it would be essentially a corner lot on Central Street and that.
oh, I
road.
see.
And the front of it come from the subdivision road.
I
Right.
believe that's how it's defined. I can confirm that.
Yep, and it's also important to add, we still don't have our DP file number, so we're not here
Right.
to close tonight, we're going to the Board of Health, so we're
Yep.
here for conversation again, but we're hoping that the plan improvements would propel that conversation forward, that's all, so we can look into that.
Yep. So, I mean, as far as the placement of the well, I guess because we don't know about where, the other things that the Board of Health would be looking for, from my standpoint, and then for everybody else chime in, I think the placement of the well and the current plan is preferred by the commission over the placement of the well in the prior plan.
Hear you loud and clear on that one, absolutely.
So, which I think is probably the biggest thing you need from us tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah.
in
That's the
preparation
idea.
for your meeting with the Board of Health.
Do we want like a
Exactly.
vote to say that we
We prefer.
this well, just to write a letter to the Board of Health saying Conservation Commission
That was gonna be my
supports
party
this
question
location.
tonight, is
Yeah.
if that's something that could come out of this, cause I think that will be factored into the variance request, and we do hope that we can pursue this plan, of course, so.
Somebody want to make a motion that we write a letter to the Board of Health saying that we prefer the well relocation variance plan dated March 20th, 2025? Oh, no, I'm sorry, dated April 1st.
So moved.
Second.
Yes, I'll second.
Can I add to that a little bit? You know, on the, there's another thing I'm worried about. I mean, they're making a lot around that house with only a leach field that we don't even know meets current standards, and they have to have 100% expansion area. So, I mean, is it all right for us to caution the Board of Health to make sure that we have, and I'm thinking of that situation down off of Gates Pond Road.
Off of Dudley.
Right,
I know which
where
one
we
you
got
mean.
kind of we were asleep on that one. So I don't wanna see that happen here. Could we just tell the Board of Health to make sure that that house has totally adequate, credible leach fields and sewage systems and wells and before any lot is
Yeah,
designed?
the piece being added is in the wetlands, right?
Yeah.
Up in this
Right,
right here?
yeah.
Actually, much of that is forested uplands to the back
Oh,
of
it
the
is?
property up there. The wetlands themselves are actually, it might make more sense to use this plan to show what's being added. So the wetlands themselves are actually a very narrow strip of wetlands that surround a stream right here, and it slopes back up into upland forest. So this chunk that's being added up here is upland forest right below the rail bed.
But it can't be used for expansion of the leach field because it's,
No, it's
Across the-
it's
road.
Across the
across the road, and
Yeah,
it's
and across the
way
perennial stream, so we'd be in the same
way
territory
up in the
as last
woods,
meeting.
and yeah,
So it has to be on that lot.
yeah.
Yes.
right.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I think I would be comfortable carefully wording our letter saying that of the two plans, this is the one we prefer for the placement of the well.
There would be one well for each house, or one well for
We're
the whole-
only talking about the house that exists now.
Okay.
So, and they're moving, this is where the well is now. They wanted to put it over
Yeah,
here,
Yeah.
and now they're moving it to, actually, oh no, this is the current well, and they're moving it to here.
Okay.
So that's,
Mm-hmm.
but if you, so you would like us to
Well-
add some language about the reserve field as well, the
I mean-
reserve leach field?
I would, well, first of all, I'm not sure, I'm not gonna vote for this in favor of it, because this is all a fishing expedition, it's all preliminary and guessing, and, they've got a lot of planning to do. What's the final plan gonna be like? Yes, the well is in a better situation than crossing wetlands, but then they've got this leach field thing, which is very serious. We don't know what that is. I don't know, if you're gonna approve it, I would like to add in just a word of caution that we are concerned about the leach field and the expansion area and adequate, full compliance with the law.
So you want us to add that to the letter to the Board of Health?
If you do, I'll
Which is
vote
what
for
we're,
it. If you
okay.
don't, I won't vote for it.
I'm just making sure that we all understand what it is that we're voting for,
Okay.
and,
So then an
We can do
amendment
the
or
motion.
however you wanna add it.
so we have an amendment to the motion to include language,
We were all,
about the placement of the leach field and the reserve, well, right now it's a leach pit, and that's not moving. So really, what we really wanna add is language about reserve leach
Right,
field.
right.
So moved, is that the right?
All right, second, yeah, second.
Worded very well, thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will ask you to vote on the amended motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay. So we will, Maddie and I together will get that letter drafted and we'll send it to the Board of Health and copy you guys.
That's perfect. Yeah, thank you for doing that. I think that's really helpful here, so we appreciate that.
Okay. Do you have any other questions for us while you're here?
No, I really appreciate your time, and all these little details, not little details, but all these pieces will unfold in very short order. We're arranging some time with the Board of Health for the testing of the reserve area. So that's not far in front of us. So
Great,
we'll,
so that'll show up on a
yeah,
plan
it's
sooner.
gonna show up on
Yep.
a plan. So we have to start somewhere, and we'll fill in all the gaps in short order.
Sure, okay. Well, and you guys got 2 extra weeks because I have a work thing.
Yep.
I would have
So-
we must have a DP file number by then. I would have to
Yeah,
think.
we
Yeah.
They're running behind, so
Right.
no, this is
There.
that's good because that'll give us time. We'll have Board of Health answers. We'll likely have DEP comments. It'll give us time to get everything into you guys. So I think that was our goal tonight. So we really appreciate your time.
Okay, and I would just request that when, the night that we do have the formal hearing,
Mhm.
if there could be enough copies of the plan for all of us to look at
Definitely.
instead of,
Do they
Absolutely,
need
we can bring one for everybody.
to sign the attendance sheet?
they did.
Yep.
I did it,
Yep.
I did.
Yep. Yeah, all three of us are right here.
Yep.
Do you
Do we
mind me?
still have digital capability to throw it up on the screen if we get a?
Yep, we could definitely do that.
Oh, if we
Okay.
can do that, I'd be
Yeah.
more than happy to.
Yeah.
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 Yep.
Yeah,
I can
so
definitely
send
bring
us
the plan
the final draft
Yeah.
and digitally, but also I like to have a paper
Yep.
copy as well, cause I'm not gonna sit here and look at the screen and,
Okay, next door if we do it for we talk too long. So
yeah.
no, we can bring hard copies. That's easy to bring hard copies for everybody. Absolutely.
That would be great.
And do you mind me asking a question? So how's the lawn expansion gonna work? What's the plan for that? Are you cutting? I mean, so there was I don't know,
Right, 'cause
a
it
bunch of little
slopes.
yeah, it slopes down.
It
There's
does.
a bunch
It's
of little sugar maples and whatnot. See
It's a-
the
it-
saplings. Yeah.
It's a steep slope right now,
Yep.
and it's mostly sapling shrubs back there.
Yep.
So what we would end up doing is marking out the 25 ahead of time, making sure that we don't encroach into that area.
Mhm.
It would consist of grubbing and clearing the saplings that are there, installing lawn to that point. But it would be a steep slope, so maintenance would have to be, it wouldn't be sort of used as like a play area, things like that. It is a steep slope. The grades would remain under this proposal.
Oh, okay.
And it
So
would
you just okay.
Yeah, at this time, there's no retaining walls or anything changed to alter the grades. It's just to expand their lawn space a little bit behind the house. I know it ends really abruptly on them, so that was one thing that they wanted under their land swap.
Mhm.
And should the Board of Health approve this changed plan, I assume you'll get this into DEP before we have the hearing.
Absolutely.
Um,
Yeah, it's only submitted to you guys now as just waiting for the variance. This is more for discussion purposes.
Right.
If we receive the variance and we move forward, DEP will get a full submittal, as will you guys, as soon as possible. And if we do get any DEP comments ahead of the next meeting, I would plan to, submit a response to you guys, even in advance. That way you have time to look at the responses, even if it's before the meeting, and we'll go from there.
Right. Everybody good? All right.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, this was helpful
Appreciate it.
feedback, everyone. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
I guess vote to continue the hearing to May.
Oh, no, because the hearing
We
didn't
did the
open.
hearing,
This
yeah.
was
Oh no,
informal.
this wasn't. No, this is a.
This was
Preliminary.
technically a formal one,
Technically.
but we don't have a DP file number. We can't close or anything, so.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
So,
So,
yeah,
yes,
technically we
uh,
have legal notice posted, abutters notified for this meeting.
Yeah.
Just, we don't have a DP file number, so we're just here with the intent that we can't close,
Right.
that's all.
Okay, so I need a motion to continue the hearing to May 7th.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right,
All right, wonderful, thank you.
thank you.
Have a
Thank
good
you,
night.
guys. You as well.
Thank you.
And really just have, as far as the agenda goes, Walter, anything new about the Bluebird Trail?
Only I haven't had, found anybody that will put it on a computer yet, detail it. I will say that, I've seen a lot of bluebirds in the houses we put up. And today I was in a yard where there was bluebirds in one house and 3 swallows in another one about 30 paces away. So that idea of bluebirds, what are they, 150 yards, they won't nest but they got together, so
Yeah,
they're
so
nesting
tree
right
swallows,
side by
yep.
side.
Yep,
Yeah.
so they'll nest next to tree
Yeah,
swallows, and
yeah.
tree swallows kind of act as like,
Yeah.
they help enforce
But there were,
other birds.
they were
Yep.
fighting out, so there were like 4 of them. I'd rather have tree swallows than bluebirds. They're so
They're so fun to
acrobatic and
watch,
beautiful.
yeah.
Sit
Yep.
there and watch them and drink a beer.
Yeah, not on town land. I don't
Do you
even
have
know.
any more bluebird houses available?
What's
Yeah.
that?
Do you have any more
Oh,
bluebird?
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, because
I will say they're rustic, you know. I have some, and then I thought, if I bring it, they're gonna say they don't want it. I build birdhouses that's similar.
right. Well, AJ
Nature,
has a
you know.
bunch built by students.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Did
I'd
you see
like
that
another
picture?
one out front.
Absolutely.
So then two, and
You showed me.
Yeah.
Great job.
Yeah. One
So-
of the neighbors across the street would like to have some bird houses.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in touch with,
Huh?
it's one of your neighbors.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna put 2 up there.
Yeah, and
What I
I
have to do is find some pipe.
I've got some fence
Have-
posts and
Yeah.
steel fence posts.
I might have something that you could put my second one on.
Okay.
Post.
You want another one?
Well, I
Is the
have
pipe
one in
and
the
nigger woods?
backyard, one in the front, but I like to have 2 in the front, closer together.
Ethan, I just forgot his name, sent me the list of bluebird houses that Walter sent him. And my plan is to hopefully either with Walter or just kind of go sleuthing on my own to find the spots and drop a pin so that I have exact coordinates, because that will help with creating a map.
Sure.
Awesome,
It's very flexible, you know.
Okay, great.
awesome. Well, thank you. So you have somebody to put it on a computer.
There we
You're
go.
just gonna have to work with her.
Absolutely. Okay, good.
Yeah, I know where a bunch of them are, and 2 of them are at my house.
Awesome.
I'm doing 2 on Saturday with a neighbor too.
Okay.
We set that up yesterday.
So AJ, for the ones at Highland Ridge,
Yeah.
are they in play? Are there?
Yeah, why not? Yeah. And you want one in your backyard, but
Yeah, we'd love to have one.
I think that
Good.
leach field too would be a perfect spot, cause
Absolutely.
Yeah.
wide open.
I know
Yeah.
our neighbors up that way would welcome that, so.
We should get them up pretty quickly.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So just reach out and, you know, we'll be glad to work on that.
Awesome.
I've literally run out of posts now.
All right, I'll help you out there.
All right, okay. I know where you live.
It also might be worth dropping a note to Roger and see if he could, because he got the pipe for the nets, right?
Oh, yeah.
See if he has access to any more.
Yeah, I don't know if Ethan has any connections to, he's able to get us rebar at least, I don't know if he
Yeah.
has
Right.
electrical
Pipe.
conduit.
Yeah. All right. Last agenda item is Earth Day. And so I just want to
Oh, I
keep
gotta
it
find my
general. I
checklist.
know you guys have details that you're going to talk about. But let's just keep it to the general stuff for this portion of the conversation. So, I know that you have flyers.
Yeah,
Did we
Maddie
do
just
a
printed
date?
those tonight.
Yes, we did, April 19th.
Okay, I think I'm actually gonna be out of town that weekend.
I had a question about the
Yeah.
sign that's in the center of town, the flashing sign. It says
Mhm.
more details coming. What other details are coming?
Yes.
What do you mean?
So think about the,
This is what I
Irish.
proposed.
Yeah, well, they did put up that town cleanup day is April 19th. Oh, maybe they're gonna put down the location.
Okay. So you're gonna get this.
It's I think the sign will accommodate 3 lines, and it's really limited to like
Right.
21 characters per line or
Oh.
something.
Right.
Yeah.
And who programs that? Is it Fred?
Well, one
Currently?
of Fred's staff, you know.
Okay,
one of the
but so
fellows.
you're gonna get this to,
Yeah, I thought
Highway
we could
Department?
review it tonight.
okay.
It's okay.
Everybody okay with what this says?
Okay, I will go there Friday.
Roadside cleanup, the date, the time, and where you can pick up bags.
You know-
Awesome.
You know what happened 250 years before that date?
I do. As a matter of fact, the famous April 19th. My father talks about it every year.
Yeah.
Shot heard round the world.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Paddington of Lexington and Concord. Which I've never, ever gotten up early to go witness
been
the
there,
reenactment,
yeah.
but
Been a couple times.
I bet it's cool.
It is.
So I've got the release and waiver form.
Okay.
I want to do them on two sides to save paper, so I'll make up about 4 or 5 copies, both sides.
Awesome.
And I have a map, which I found out is old, because a lot, Highland Ridge isn't on here, but a couple of other places aren't on here. There are streets on here that are private roads, so they should be on this map.
Okay.
But, I mean, for our purposes, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
So I'll
Highland
make
Ridge is still a
copies of
private
that.
road, right?
Yes.
Right.
It is.
Highland Ridge is a private road.
I mean, we don't need, I don't want to divert our resources. I don't think
Yeah.
it's necessary at all.
Right.
Okay, so we really don't need to put it on there, but.
Right.
So I'll make up about 10 copies of this, because sometimes we pass them out to people, right?
Yeah, that's-
I don't know that you need to make copies. I think most people can take a picture with their cell phone now.
They could, and I have a bigger map.
Yeah.
Right, so they could take a picture there.
Yeah.
All right,
So let's
I've got a few
not-
copies, so,
hand those out.
yeah, okay, save more paper,
Exactly.
right.
And if nothing else, people have GPS.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's true,
And then,
okay.
so aren't we supposed to designate a place for the donations? Wasn't Highland, that was what I was looking for.
right, so, I thought that was done. So, Highland Liquors is gonna give half to,
International Animal Rescue, which is run by
right, Lawrence's,
Holyoke.
Lawrence
And
Holyoke's
the other half
organization.
is going to the
Food
pantry.
pantry.
And they are going to mail the checks out to those people.
Was it a total of 500 again?
Yep.
500?
Yep, so
Yeah,
250 to
250
each.
Right. Yeah, and they'll go out before Earth Day, because as soon as they get them from Buffalo, the main office, they will send them out.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So based out of Buffalo?
Yep. Well, Benderson is for sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could we just talk briefly about the logistics? Just how, having never experienced it before, is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. So.
And how you'd like us to be placed, or?
Right, so it's really these
Yeah.
guys.
Right.
That's not, I just pick up trash on my street.
Paper bags are yellow.
Right, so, people need to go to, Bridge Realty, which is at Five Corners.
Right.
To get a street assignment and to get bags. And then once you fill your bags, the highway department's driving around this year, right?
Right.
Right, so you can bring your bags to the transfer station, you can bring them to Bridge Realty. I always wrap them up neatly and put them in front of my house, and they're gone within an hour usually.
Right. Yeah, you can
so-
leave them on the side of the road, off the road, and the highway department will go pick them up. And in the past, like, the police have gone around and, called the highway department, said, oh, there's a bunch of.
Right,
Right.
there's some bags here, there's some bags there. So everybody kind of just comes together and makes it happen.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We do ask people to put this, nib bottles in separate bags,
Yes.
because we bring them to, Highland Wine and
Liquors.
Spirits,
Right.
and they fill up a big bucket and everything, and they're going to put a display together.
Yep.
Right.
It's more anti-littering on their on their part.
Right,
Right.
Is,
Mm.
you know, buy them here, but don't throw them out your window.
Right.
exactly.
And I thought this was interesting and maybe something we could put out there. I was talking to somebody who says they save all their bird seed bags,
Mhm.
50-pound bags, and that's what they use. They go up and down their street picking up trash.
Nice.
You know, so maybe we could put something out about reusing bags.
Yeah, yep.
You know,
Yeah, and you don't have to be there at 9. You can be there at any time during
Right.
Okay.
the day.
And you can go on other days too.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you don't have to be at Bridge Realty at
No.
9. Right.
No.
But there will be coffee and donuts provided by the general
mhm.
store.
Yeah. Did you already contact?
No, I haven't, but
Oh, okay, I can if you want, but,
Very
Um,
good. Thank you
all
very
right,
much.
yeah.
Why don't
Thank you.
yeah.
where's it on the checklist? Because and yeah, we're getting into detail now, and we're going to do general stuff, so we can
Yeah.
talk about that after.
Right.
Mhm, Yeah. Oh, and our article is in the Powder House News.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, full page. And I was
Do we
told
have-
anytime the Conservation Commission wants to put something in there, let them know. Has to be, like, it was supposed to be in by March 7th, I think it was. Yeah, but they
Early
let
March.
us,
Yeah.
and we passed it in about 5 or 6 days later, and it's in there.
Awesome.
But yeah.
That's great.
Oh, and
Any
it's supposed to-
other information you want the public to have?
Not that I can think of offhand.
All right.
Oh, yeah, it needs to be posted on Berlin Neighbors Connect and the conservation.
Oh, yeah. Do you want to post this flyer on Berlin Neighbors Connect? Do you know how to do that?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Send it to me and I'll post it.
Okay.
Um,
Is that a Facebook page?
Yeah, I thought I saw you comment on there.
I'm probably on there.
Yeah. I know your wife is on there. So Ann can help you, or send it to me and I'll do it.
Who runs that, by the way? Lately, I haven't been able, I put on a couple of historical related things and they don't come up. I don't, who
You
should I
might be
call?
banned, Walter.
What's
Yeah,
that?
right.
I said you might be banned.
Maybe it.
Although I love your historical posts, actually. I love the old
That's-
posts.
There's 2 admins, one of which I know is Peter Hoffman.
Yeah.
Oh, Peter.
I'm trying to remember
his
I'll give him
name.
a call.
Yep,
So if you put something up, they review it before it
correct.
actually gets published.
Is it
Yeah.
Toomey, Scott Toomey?
Yeah.
Is he the other one?
Well, I could, is it Scott? I think.
I think so. I think that's his
Oh,
name.
okay.
Yeah.
Although I don't know if he's still
We'll get it
current.
done. I can do it.
I haven't heard anything about admins changing,
Mm.
but I'm not on nearly as much as I used to be.
Yeah, same.
So, excuse me. Anybody have anything else?
Oh, yes. Yeah, you're making me yawn.
Sorry.
Do we have the canceled, not canceled checks, do we have the checks from, for VHB? Thank you. I will get these back to you after I do the, reimbursement.
Awesome.
So, that's all I have.
All right.
The only, I sent around an email with, critters we've seen in our yard, try to get your attention. And I feel we have an opportunity that, and I've never seen it realized in the 49 years I've been on the commission, but it seems though we're missing an opportunity to engage people a little bit more. Like the historical commission should put out something on a map and historical things, get people thinking, oh, geez, never thought of that. And we've got a great map now out on it. And then every year, people should be learning the birds. And there are all kinds of ways to learn things. People should have their kids looking at what kind of bird is that, and getting engaged. And somehow, I don't know how to do it, but if we knew somebody that could put up a site or somebody in charge of it, get your bird list between January 1st and the end of April. And what have you got? bluebird boxes, how many, how to monitor them. I mean, there are people in town that don't know a pine tree from a maple tree. I mean, we should somehow get them thinking about what a great town this is. And we are a great town. And we can see from this, we're really a highly desired, people are bending over backwards to cash in on Berlin. It's a very desirable town at this point because of the work we've done here. But I don't know, we're not doing much public interaction, for lack of a better term. And I just think about that a little bit.
I did want to mention one thing briefly. I reached out to Boundless Adventures recently.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, about my grandnephews.
Mhm.
One just turned 16, or he's turning 16, believe it or not, just a couple weeks, to see if he could come and work here. And I said, I assume that would take an H-1 visa, which is probably a virtual impossibility, given our. But he Chris, and forgive me, I can't remember his last name. You might know. He was very kind, and he says, but I did. I sent an email yesterday to Congresswoman Trahan to see, and I haven't heard back yet. But again, I think we all know the answer to that. But again, I thought again, it's just important to know that he responded very
They've
quickly.
always been great. They've been good stewards down there. Anytime we've ever needed to contact them, which really hasn't been much at all. But yeah, they're wonderful.
And we're probably going to enroll the boys anyway, just to experience the camp, hopefully.
Cool.
Gracie's going for a week this summer.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah.
It was not cheap.
All right. Well, let's see if we can get Lexi out of here.
Yeah.
Unless anybody has anything else, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 8:14 PM.
Second.
It's non-debatable. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, guys.